Good evening, class. My name is Jordan Bowton, and I'm going to take my glasses off because of the reflection. My name is Jordan Bowton, and I am going to present my Caja project over video. When I made this project, it was really, really hard for me because my childhood was a part of my life that I really don't like revisiting. It was really hard for me, and oftentimes felt like it was a constant struggle. My backstory is basically I spent a lot of time alone. I didn't have a lot of friends growing up, so that was really hard for me because I always felt lonely and I always felt like there was something wrong with me. So I spent a lot of time with adults and staff and teachers and things like that. I spent a lot of time doing music, writing, reading, things that I could do by myself, but also things that related more towards a mature group of people. So for me, I got enjoyment out of doing things like that. I excelled through school. I did super good on everything pretty much except for math. That was my hardest part. But everything else I pretty much did really well in, and I was often labeled the teacher's pet, and I think that was because I bonded with them so well due to the fact that I didn't have a lot of friends, and I spent a lot of recesses inside and doing extra chores for them, and I really enjoyed, just the older group of people. So for me, it was really hard throughout pretty much my whole school life. I dealt with a lot of bullying. I dealt with a lot of judgments based on my size, the clothes that I wore, where I lived, that kind of thing. So growing up, I didn't ever really understood why. Because of those things, you were judged and looked at as someone that wasn't worthy of friendship, wasn't worthy of people's time. And oftentimes it led me to a really sad, sad place. And on top of that, I dealt with a lot of family issues and abuse and a lot of self-harm I did to myself and my mental health because of it. So when I created this box, I was sad thinking back to a lot of the times, but also I was happy because I have grown a lot over the course of my life, and I'm very proud of the person that I'm becoming now and achieving the goals that I want to. So I'm going to show you guys my box the best that I can on the computer. It's a little bit dark in the room that I'm in right now, so I'm going to do my best to try and explain and show you what it looks like. So this is the inside. I don't know if you could see it. I painted the inside black due to the fact that a lot of my childhood was dark. It was really hard for me, and I struggled a lot in seeing light in the world. When I was younger, when I was from the time I was maybe 6 to about 8, everything seemed pretty great. I went on a lot of family vacations. I spent a lot of time with my family and friends, family friends, cousins, all that kind of stuff. And things seemed really good. My dad owned his own business. We lived in a really nice house on acres in the middle of Gilroy. And I really enjoyed living out there. It was definitely different than living in the city. And it was a very small town, so everybody knew each other. And I really liked that because I did have neighborhood friends. I just didn't have much friends at school. And for some reason, we all went to different schools due to the county line and stuff. So the inside is black due to the fact that I felt like a lot of it was hard for me. It was a lot of darkness that was going on in there. And here I painted a heart and a little bit of black around it, sort of to signify that no matter what happened in my life and how bad it was, I always remained with a resilient heart. I always wanted to help people, and I cared a lot about my friends that I did have, and I cared about my family. And no matter what the universe, or at that time, Jesus, I considered it, no matter what he threw at me, no matter what life threw at me, I always still had a heart. And I wanted to love people, and I wanted to show them affection and love and a caring nature, and just be there for them. And I've always wanted to help people ever since I was a little kid. So that's why I painted this. As you can see, the outline is black, so I feel like my heart withstood a lot of hurt, a lot of sadness, a lot of dark times, and through that, I learned who to trust. I learned to be careful with how much I opened myself up to people, but to also not completely give up on caring about people, because there are people that are decent human beings that want to be in your life for the right reasons. And it took me a lot through my childhood up until past high school, into my adulthood, to realize that. So I always admire the fact that I think no matter what happened, I always had a very sweet, tender heart, and I was always open to love. No matter how hard things got, no matter how mean people were to me, I still cared about them. And I think that that's hard in life, to be able to do that. So that was a key part of my childhood, was always making sure that my heart was still open to people and wanting to care about them, even if they hurt me. Then we're moving on to this part. It says art and music, and I drew a little music signs and a pen, a paintbrush, and an easel. Art and music were huge in my life. That was where I spent a lot of my time when I was sad. It got my emotions out. It got me to be able to feel like I could do something, and I touched a lot of people through music. I played the flute in the band, and I started when I was in 6th grade, I believe, 5th grade maybe, and I did really good at it. I was very talented when it came to music, and one time I even performed in front of a crowd at my chapel, because I went to a Christian school, which I will get to in a minute. And I performed in front of a whole crowd of people, and I wrote my own poem and everything. And that was one of the biggest times that I felt really proud of myself, because I did something that everybody really liked, and they were really touched by it. And it felt like, I stood out, which was awesome. My art has always been something, although I don't think that I'm that good at art per se, like drawing and painting. I still try, because it gives me, it gave me back then a lot of hope, a lot of joy and everything. So I was always trying to, have a good outlook on my life and everything through art and music. This next part is Jesus and a cross. Christianity was super important to me. I was growing up through a Christian school from preschool all the way until I was in high school, and high school was the first school that I went to that wasn't private. I was stoked about that, because we didn't have to wear uniforms anymore, and it was a little bit more lenient on certain things. So growing up, I did go to church a lot. I respected my religion, and I was around people that did as well. So growing up, I think it strengthened my morals. In my childhood, it was very important to me and everything. So I'm thankful that I got those experiences to be sheltered for a little bit before I got tossed into the real world of where things weren't the way that they are in private school. It's very different. So that was another part. And the next part is honor roll and writing. So I drew a little book, and I put honor roll and writing. Writing has always been my saving grace. Even back then, I was journaling. I was writing stories. Creative writing was my favorite. And I was on honor roll. I excelled through school, like I said, and I was a very good student. Got all A's, always, at least A's and B's. And all throughout elementary school, from the time I was old enough to have grades until I graduated for high school, I was getting honor roll. So that was a really big accomplishment to me. And I'm really happy about that. Even though I was alone, I excelled through school, so that was awesome to me. So that's pretty much my childhood, in a sense, going into it. So now I'm going to move on to my adulthood and show some of the things that I have kind of blossomed into as I've grown throughout my life. So the first thing is, I am a part of the LGBT community. There's the rainbow, and there's my date. I came out when I was 19 years old, so that was really hard for me, because through high school I struggled a lot with the ability to realize my sexuality and not be ashamed of it. I struggled heavily with coming out to my family. It was a very hard time for me, and I was always worried about being judged. Even though I was surrounded by all my friends were a part of the community, I was still nervous about becoming part of this. But when I was 19, I came out. I actually came out on National Bisexual Awareness Day, and that was really, really awesome. I had a lot of support. that year was actually the year that gay marriage was legalized. So I went to Pride my first year that I came out, which was super awesome. And little did I know that right after that I would meet the love of my life. And that's why I put this date on there. It's very significant to me. It's October 2nd of 2015. I actually fell in love with my best friend. We knew each other since high school. And we reconnected after I graduated. We both graduated. And we hung out, and things just changed from friendship to romantics. And before I knew it, I was in a relationship, and it's my first relationship. It's with a female, and it's very, very amazing. We're planning on getting married someday. We plan on having a family, so that is super significant to me, and I'm so proud to be a part of the LGBT community. It is. I fight for them every day, and I am an activist, totally 100%. So that is a very, very big part of my life, which is why it's on one of the bigger pieces of the box. The next thing I will talk about is Symbiosis, 2015. This was a very important event in my life, and there's a little tent because we went camping, and it says, "Where I realized my self-love and worth, wholly," which is completely true, because I went to that festival not having any expectations, because it's a music festival. You camp for like a week. You're out of cell service. You're pretty much surrounded by just people everywhere. There's thousands of people there. It's like huge festivals like EDC, but more so for like house music. So I went there. It has meditation, yoga, and you're just surrounded by a lot of love and light. And I walked a lot. It was a very treacherous journey. If you're not completely in shape, which back then I was in shape pretty well, and it was still hard for me. I was exhausted. So it was definitely a very good experience. I meditated a lot. I did a lot of yoga. I went to a lot of workshops. I listened to music. I danced. I swam. And it was just a really nice experience. And specifically, I did one of these meditations that was supposed to open up your third eye, which is basically like your pineal gland. And from that moment on, my life had changed forever. I realized that there was a lot of things in my life that I needed to let go of and that were holding me back from living life the way that I wanted to. And so I decided to let all that go and recommit myself to me and to take care of myself and to love myself no matter what. And that I finally was able to like let go of everything and really come into myself and see what I needed. And that's where I found myself. Essentially, I thank that festival every day for teaching me the things that I now know about myself and to blossom into the human being that I'm going to. And it really helped me to motivate myself to want to be better. So I thank the stars and everything and God, if some of you believe in God, I don't know, for that every day. So that is a very important event, another big, big event in my life. And that also goes along with why I put the universe and the cosmos on here and also put astrology. That after that festival, I got heavily into the universe and the cosmos and learning about space, learning about astrology, and kind of created my own religion. I was raised Christian, and I respect that religion, but I am now not really into Christianity. I don't really go to church. I'm kind of just doing my own thing. I do believe that there's a higher power and everything, and I believe in the universe heavily, that everything happens for a reason. And I'm really proud because I was actually able to create my own religion, so to speak, and be able to like come into that and find myself through meditation, through yoga and all kinds of other stuff and reading tarot. So that was all super important, and the universe is what I, can say from my explanations of why things happen and everything, and I believe in it heavily. I'm super into astrology and science and believe that that's kind of like a basis for who we are as human beings. A lot of people don't, but I heavily do. I think it's true. So that's another big part of my life. And the last one is psychology. Like I said previously, I really want to help people, and I'm a psychology major. I am planning on working for the school district for special education students. I want to be like a program specialist, so I want to help place students into the right schools to make sure that they get what they need, but also helping their mental health while I'm doing that. So essentially, I want to be a counselor for special needs kids, if that makes sense. And I will be attending Palo Alto University after I graduate from De Anza this summer. I'm super excited. I've been at the school game for a while, so I'm ready to transfer out. And now I just have some stuff that I want to show, kind of highlighting other important parts of my life. I do bullet journal. This is a part of my life now. I love art and everything. I do bullet journal quite frequently. I've taught myself calligraphy and everything. I write in here. This is like my life. This was my first one, and I have a little bit left, and then I have to start a new one, so I'm super excited about that. I have this to signify the fact that I did have an alcohol problem, but I am now sober. And I'm very proud of myself for that, because it was a very hard time in my life. It was when a lot of bad things were happening, and I'm really proud that I've overcome that as well. I have headphones because of music. I still love music so much. It's, one of the biggest things in my life. It gets me through a lot of hard times. It gives me a way to express myself, so I love music. And this card is from my first job. I worked at Buffalo Wild Wings for 3 years as a server, and it was my first real job. So I keep this forever because it signifies, my growth. I'm going on to bigger jobs now. I'm going to be working with kids now. So I no longer serve, but this job really did help me grow, and through that time, it honestly helped me come out too, because I was able to really realize who I was as a person, and grew up with these people, and they helped me, they helped me through my whole life. They saw me grow up, and I grew up a lot there. I learned a lot about the work ethics I needed to have for the future. I learned about patience, communication, and to have, accountability for everything working there. I worked there for a very long time, so I really enjoyed it. I'm sad that I had to leave for moving purposes and other things, but I thank that place too, because it helped me a lot, and it kind of helped me know what to expect in the future for when my actual career comes around. So that was really important. So overall, my box wasn't pretty on the inside, I know, but that was for a specific reason. I'm honestly happy to do this project. I mean, it was really hard for me in the beginning, but once I got to the point that I am now, I was super proud of myself for how far I've come, how positive I am, and how much things have changed over the course of my life. I can't wait to see everybody else's and get to know a little bit more about them. And I had a really good time talking to you guys, and I hope you guys do good on your finals or whatever is going on with you. Have a good night, and thank you for watching. I appreciate it. Bye.